why would you continue to watch this crap?
Jordan, open, Chicago with the lead. Podsednik hits one to deep right center field. Back at the wall. This ball is gone. Podsednik goes deep. Rebate, charges, throws, out! And the White Sox have won the World Series. Tip to Richard, across the cage, he scores! This was going to look the third time in 6 years the Blackhawks are Stanley Cup champions. He will glove it through to Rizzo. It's in time, and the Chicago Cubs win the World Series.
What's going on, Windy City Sports Talks fans? It's your boy Brandon Combs. Hello, my guy Ryan Fitzgibbons. What's going on, Fitzy?
What's happening?
Oh,
It's good to see you today. We got a lot to talk about. Should I start already? So,
it's punishment day.
Punishment day.
I'm wearing the costume that Fitz wanted me to wear, which is Sox gear. Unfortunately, Fitz has himself an edible.
Yeah, there's a little pot insignia there.
Fitz is about to eat an edible
Edibles,
live.
edibles.
Our first show on Twitch, and this is how we're doing it, baby.
Yeah, brought to you. Yeah, we're off Twitch. We're on Twitch. We're off Twitch.
But hey, look, this is a great introduction for people on Twitch to get to know us, because this is what we do. We're insane. We're honest. We're profane. We talk all sports, but mostly Chicago sports. And, you know, we have what we call a wheel of death. And what happens is we make our NFL picks every week. I think maybe after football, we might even extend this thing. Oh, boy. We might extend this thing and make it no, just put the whole thing in there, baby. No. You're taking the whole damn thing
before the show. I'll get really weird. Like, I'll be thinking about existence.
You've done how many Fitz gibberishes? How much weirder are you going to get?
It could get a whole lot weirder.
Oh, God.
40. I think I've done over 40.
Yeah. So, I mean, look, this is
to think about.
It's been a thing. That's what they like here. So as John Fitzgibbons chimes in.
Nice jersey. About time. Kind of a weird time to come over to the Sox. That's all I'm saying.
Take it in. I'm not coming over to the Sox. I want nothing to do with the White Sox, actually.
You see, you look good in that jersey. Look good in black and white.
It'll never happen again. I do own a couple of White Sox jerseys, I will say. They're not bad. They're both Tim Anderson jerseys.
Yeah.
And I do, I don't hate the White Sox, but I don't endorse them either. So there's that. But it is what it is. I mean, look, it's our first day on Twitch. I'm trying to share with everybody, trying to talk. I'm about to get very, very, very angry about the college football playoff. Yeah. I don't know how you feel about this thing, but
can we just for 1 second? Your wife, I agree the color looks nice on you. Can we fly the White Sox flag?
She's been trying all day to get a divorce. She's been trying all day to get a divorce. Do you think the college football playoff got this thing right?
I don't. I think every thread you pull in this country has something to do with money, and it's always dirty, and there's no integrity. And it's leaked into sports years ago. Obviously, there's that great line from Any Given Sunday when Jim Brown says, as soon as they stopped TV to do commercials, I knew this thing was cooked. I don't know if that's not verbatim, but it's the same thing has happened in college football. I think college football is more corrupt than the NFL, if that's even possible. But it is, and they did it for money. They did it for eyes on TVs. any other answer is just dumb. That's why they play the games. This isn't the Oscars where an actor is like, oh, he was better in that movie than that guy, and then they just pick the actor gets picked by a bunch of his own peers and judges for being the best actor or the best movie. It's not like they didn't beat anybody really in a game or anything like that. They just, they were judged on, and that's kind of what they're now telling us college football is. So why play the games? Why not just judge the teams at the beginning of the year on how their player? Oh yeah, they're great.
Yeah. And we have our first Twitch comment. Wayne62279 says they picked the four best teams. FSU can't compete with any of them right now, but at 13-0, they did earn it. They did not pick the four best teams, because if they picked the four best teams, it would be Michigan, it would be Michigan, it would be Ohio State, it would be Alabama, and it would be Georgia. Well, maybe not even Ohio State. Maybe Texas. Texas has earned it. So let's go Texas, Alabama, Georgia, and Michigan. Those are your four best teams. But here's the problem. Alabama lost by 2 scores in Tuscaloosa. Now, granted, it was to a very good team in Texas, but they lost by 2 scores. That was their one loss.
Almost lost to Auburn, too.
Well, yeah, but then you have, not only did you almost lose to Auburn, but you also almost lost to USF the week after you lost to Texas. Yeah. Your offense looked inept for a majority of the season. I think Michigan's going to kill them anyway. I don't think it's that big of a thing anyway. I think Michigan's going to beat them. Michigan's defense is that good, but you can't for the life of me tell me that Florida State, who you leave in the top 4 when their quarterback gets hurt, you leave them in the top 4 for over a month, and every week all they do is win, regardless of whether or not they have their quarterback, regardless of that argument. They're in the top 4. Okay, so now all they do is win. What makes it so different? But then the other part of the math that doesn't add up is, if you're saying that they're not that good because of their quarterback, why are they ahead of Georgia? They're better than Georgia, but they're not as good as Alabama. Are you out of your mind? That it doesn't even make sense. If they had knocked Florida State out and put Georgia at 4, I would have had no problem with it. Georgia's first loss in over 2 years. Their loss was by 3 points, not by 2 scores. It was on a neutral site. It was not at home like Alabama, and they did not struggle through half of their schedule like Alabama did. Now, you want to talk about strength of schedule and all that other stuff. Florida State has more wins against top 25 teams than Alabama does. Florida State is 3-0 against their top 25 teams. You have a loss versus a top 25 team. Florida State did everything that they were supposed to do. And in every other sport that we go to, you want to talk about NFL, you want to talk about Major League Baseball, you want to talk about the NHL, you want to talk about any other sport out there, the NBA, there's always a weaker division and there's always a stronger division. Yep. And sometimes that stronger division has a team that is third or second in the division that gets left out because of a team in a weaker division wins the division. They don't say, no, you're out of the playoffs. You can't be in because this other team is better than you. They had a better record, so you're out. That's not how it works. But now
a lot in football too, because you only play one game. The better team doesn't always win. Whether you do it or not, whether you bring in, whether you say this is going to be a more competitive game or not, you lost. Sorry, you're out.
Right.
Like that's what happens. Like, the better team doesn't always win in football because they don't have 7 games to decide who's the best.
And look, when it comes to me, I'm a Notre Dame guy. So when it comes to me going to bat for Florida State, look, I'm not going to apologize for Florida State, okay? Because Florida State got a national title that they didn't deserve back in 1993. So I don't even want to talk about all that stuff. But what I'm saying is that Bama is the team that did not deserve to be in. Whether it was Florida State or whether it was Georgia, it should not have been Alabama. That is the thing that you have to look at. Wayne 62279 says they did not. You can't compare pros to college. He also says the gap between SEC and the MAC is way different than AFC East and AFC West. I mean, over the last 20 years, is it really that much different? Because the last 20 years, the New England Patriots, who, if this is Wayne G, which I believe it is a big. He is a big New England Patriots fan. Did they not play in the weakest division in all of the NFL over the last 20 years and win it?
Records last year.
But nobody ever said, hey, you won a weak division. Somebody from the AFC West or the AFC South or the AFC North should be in there instead. Nobody cared about that stuff. And you can't compare pros to college. Why can't you? It's the same thing. It's about comparing sports. It's about comparing who goes to a playoff and who does not. Ben Catalano says they did not. Bama does not belong in. A 2-score home loss, regardless of when it happens, is worse than a 1-score neutral site conference championship loss. Georgia should be in over them, despite Bama beating Georgia last week, in my opinion. I agree. He also says Combs is right, which not a lot of people say, so I like to bring it up when they do. But the other thing too is, we could talk about Florida State's not as good, but Florida State hasn't lost. So Florida State has earned the right to be there at 13-0. They are the first time a Power 5 champion who was undefeated has been left out of the playoff for the first time. And you talk about Florida State all you want and them playing in the ACC, and the ACC is not as good. They played in SEC this year, and you know what they did? They beat them by 21 points.
And it's not a popularity contest. It isn't. It's about wins and losses. It's not a judge. It's not a judge game. It isn't. It's about wins and losses. If you lost, you lost. Yeah, you could be the better team, but who gives a fuck? You lost. Sorry. You should be out. You should be out. And I'm so sick of seeing Nick Saban. Like, I'm fucking sick and tired of seeing him. Yeah, he's great. He's the best college coach ever. That has 7 NFL players on his team every fucking year. Do you know what he said when he left the Dolphins? And by the way, he left the Dolphins with a note. He left him infamously, left him with a note. When he left the Dolphins, they said, "Oh, why did you get out of the NFL?" Well, if I go to Alabama, I'll have 5 top 10 picks a year. Which is exactly what he fucking gets every year. But he's a fucking mastermind. What kind of mastermind has Tommy Rees, who's a terrible fucking offensive coordinator when he was at Notre Dame, be your offensive coordinator? And then he's his offensive coordinator in the offense. That's why you shouldn't be in. You made a mistake. You hired the wrong guy, or you had the wrong personnel. That's your fucking problem. Get the hell out of here. That's why I have a problem with Notre Dame not being able to compete with half these teams. They get a bunch of blue chip picks every year.
Yes.
Whatever.
It doesn't make a lick of sense. And this is the only thing that they can do. This is the only thing that the committee can do. The only thing that they can do is they can finally admit that they have a bias. I wouldn't even say an SEC bias at this point. It's an Alabama bias. And for Nick Saban to come out afterwards when they're interviewing and be like, "Oh, I'm glad that my kids got the chance that they absolutely deserve." They do not deserve this chance, no. Nick. You guys were not good. And I think Michigan's going to prove it. I really do. I think Michigan's going to prove it to them. But Alabama did not belong here. Tommy Rees is a terrible offensive coordinator. He's going to show it in the college football playoff. I think Michigan in Texas is probably going to be your final. And I saw a comment earlier. Thomas says
Iowa State and Georgia were both penalized for losing late in the year, which makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean,
Jeremiah says you really hate the fucking Pac-12. I don't hate the Pac-12. I'm a big believer in Michael Penix Jr. I'm a big believer in Bo Nix. I think both of those guys are going to be great NFL quarterbacks, but they're not as good. And we'll see. Because look, TCU did it last year to Michigan, so I'm not saying that Washington can't beat Texas. I didn't think Washington was going to beat Oregon, but they did. So I'm just saying that when it comes to the best 4 teams in football, if you're going by just the eye test, which I like to do a lot, people who know me know I love my eye test more than I love my stats. If you go by the eye test, Michigan, Georgia, Alabama, and Texas would be your best 4 matchups. your matchups. And I would make Georgia and Alabama fight it out, and in Michigan and Texas fight it out. And that way, the winner of Michigan, Texas plays the winner of Bama and Georgia. Give Bama and Georgia a rematch, and then let it go. But I just Bama did not belong in this college football playoff. They didn't. They shouldn't have. If you want to be in there, you don't lose by 2 scores at home in Tuscaloosa. You don't go out there and you don't almost get beat by Auburn. You need a 4th and goal from the 34 with 30 seconds to go with the game on the line, prayer Hail Mary to beat a bad Auburn team. You almost lose to a bad USF team. If you want to be in the college football playoff over an undefeated Power 5 champion, don't do that. And Bama did all of it. That's just the way that it goes. We've said it time and time and time again. And look, I know what TCU did last year in the national title game, but you know what? They also beat a very good Michigan team to get to that title game. Did TCU belong in the playoffs last year? Absolutely, they belonged in the playoffs last year.
They won the games in front of them. That's all you can do is win the games in front of you. You're an undefeated team. You should probably be in the playoffs. I mean, almost definitely, because there's not a lot of undefeated teams because everybody plays each other, but there's not a lot of undefeated teams. You should make it in. I don't get this. So what does FSU do next year to get into the playoffs? Not have Alabama play anymore?
Well, you've got to go to a super conference, and I believe actually you should probably just go to one huge college football playoff conference and have however many teams you wanted, and then take the top 12 records as opposed to voters. Wayne says, I actually don't care who's in. The only bowl game I care about is the one with LSU and the 2024. Ooh. He says Jaden Daniels is going to be the 2024 number 1 overall pick.
I don't think so.
Wow. Jaden Daniels over Bo Nix, Michael Penix, and Caleb Williams.
You didn't name Caleb Williams when you said good Pac-12 quarterbacks.
Because he's not. He's not. I would take Jaden Daniels over Caleb Williams. I would take Jaden Daniels over Drake May.
You're taking Tyson Bagent over Caleb Williams.
It's true. I would take you over Caleb Williams, to be honest with you. That's a real thing. That's yeah. You got a good arm.
Georgia's -14 versus FSU in the Orange Bowl.
Well, yeah. You know why? Because they're going to the Orange Bowl, and I guarantee you half of Georgia's team is going to sit out. They're not going to play. I guarantee you their starting quarterback doesn't play. Probably their best running back doesn't play. They're just not going to play because, and that's the other thing about the college football playoff. These kids don't care about the Orange Bowl, the Idaho Potato Bowl, the Yankee Pinstripe Bowl, all these other bowl games.
Bowls that you remember last year.
Yeah.
They have the Salsa Bowl, or they had some weird bowl game.
They've got everything. They've got the Smoke Bowl. They've got the Potato Bowl. They've got the KFC Bowl. They've got everything. It's stupid how many bowl games they got, but it's just. To me, it's a point where, like, next year they're going to 12. Do you think 12 is good? Do you think it's not enough? Do you think it's too many? Where are you at with the 12-team playoff?
I think that's too many.
Wow, really? Okay.
Are you going to lessen regular season games then? I mean, these kids are going to play. How many games do they have to play then at the end of the season?
I don't think they're going to lessen the regular season games, but what I do think that they're going to do is lessen the amount of bowl games. And I think you're going to see the playoffs are going to start.
Maybe
probably,
not the conference championship game. I don't know. How does that work?
I don't know if they've set up the schedule yet, but I would assume that after the conference championships, well, maybe you do away with conference championships, and then after that you go to instead of conference championships you go week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4 because then by then with the 12 teams. The normal week that you have the championship, you have the normal championship anyway. Do you give the 1 and 2 seeds a bye? I don't know how it's going to go. I haven't read that much into it. I just know they're going to a 12-team play. I think the 12-team is perfect. I think the criteria needs to change, though. I think the criteria needs to be, and they got to determine what the conferences are that they're allowing in this thing. But whatever FBS conference you're going to allow in, if they are undefeated, they need to be in. Okay, I don't care if it's TCU. I don't care if it's Tulane. I don't care I don't care who it is. If they are undefeated throughout their schedule, they should be in the playoff. And you could say all you want, but let's say college basketball. You don't want to compare. You don't want to compare college to pros. Let's go to college basketball. Right, 64 team tournament. 64 teams get in. And I know basketball is different than football. You can play more games. You can get it done a little bit quicker. You can do all that stuff, right? But how awesome was it when you watched the 16 seed beat the 1 seed? Now, it's only happened once in the tournament's history, but that one time that it happened, it was awesome. And all the other times where it came really, really close, everybody's attention was at that game while it was going on. And that's what the college football would bring too, because look, I know that not every year a Tulane is not going to beat an Alabama, but what about the one year that they do? Because that'll be the one year that we talk about time and time and time again.
Yeah,
just like TCU beating Michigan to get to the championship.
It'll bring the casual fan in for sure.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And these teams that if you go undefeated, you should be in. And then after the undefeated thing, then sure, if you wanted to go to a vote in the polls and all that stuff, by all means. But for right now, undefeated, you should be in the college football playoff.
Yeah, for sure. Especially if you're Florida State, for Christ's sake. Go Liberty.
Can't go by record unless why can't you go by? First of all, there are so many changes right now with rosters with kids transferring. I mean, you got there's another kid who just said today that he was transferring from I want to say it was Alabama, but maybe it's not. There's so many players transferring to all these different schools now that these schools have a chance. Hell, Tua's brother is transferring for the second time in 2 years. He played this year. Now he's going to play for another school next year. So they've already set that up so that these kids could transfer to wherever they want. And I'm okay with it because I get the premise behind it. Like the coaches were able to break rules, and then when they were about to get hit with punishments, they would just go coach for another school. So now you can go allow a kid to go play for another school. So I get it. But the parity, I think, in college football between the SEC and everywhere else, did you know that the ACC actually had a winning record versus the SEC this year?
I did not know that.
Yes,
but it makes sense at this point.
Well, that's what I'm saying. There's the numbers are so in favor of FSU being in this college football playoff. It's crazy. I do kind of understand the fact of, hey, we want it to be competitive and they don't have their starting quarterback, but that's your fault for not dropping them out of the top 4 3 weeks ago when he got hurt. Instead, you dropped them at the final. Had you dropped them 3 weeks ago when he got hurt, or even 2 weeks ago, a week after he got hurt, and you didn't think that the offense was as potent, then fine. I would have been fine with that. I would have had no complaints. Then my complaint would have been Georgia over Alabama.
Let's put up a fight. Wayne says nobody agrees with Combs. What do you want me to say? Like I said in the beginning of the show, there's no integrity in this country anymore. It's all about money. It's all about where they're getting the money from. You're going to get ratings on a game anyway. They just want more ratings. It's never fucking enough in this country. And you want to be the most popular team probably in college sports is Alabama. Roll Tide. And that's why they're going to be on our TVs. I mean, but it's ridiculous. They did not win the game. It's not. Then what are the games for? Then FSU could have not have done anything this year.
If you want to listen to Fitz argue with me, stay tuned because we're going to be talking about how I believe Shohei Ohtani's coming to the Cubs. Oh, God. See, I told you. Stay tuned. He will argue with me. I'm just right about this.
Ricketts, you got Ricketts on speed dial over there. Do you have a picture of Ricketts on your bed, side of your bed? Good night, honey.
I'm just right about this. I mean, you can. It's all right to admit that I'm just right. I mean, is that okay?
He's not coming here. He's going to the Dodgers.
Why is he not coming here?
Because, Chicago teams never get players like that. Your owner while people were actually dying and couldn't breathe, and people were losing their businesses and all that crap, said the losses were biblical for his baseball team during COVID. I mean, that's a problem for me. That's a problem for me. I don't think he's going to give up $500 million for this guy, and I don't think he's going to take 1 cent less. I just don't think so. And there's a human factor. It's, round trip 6, 7, 8 hours less to get home for him. I mean, that's something. And I would trust the Dodgers a lot more than the Cubs to be a winner, to be a perennial winner. I just gave you 3 reasons. How about that?
Okay. I mean, I think that he is going to come here. I actually don't think he's going to come here. I actually think I think the Dodgers are just going to offer too much money. From what I'm hearing, the Dodgers are willing to offer over $650 million.
That's insane.
And to me, that, I mean, you can have him for that much money. I don't want him for that much money. But there was a report that came out today from a guy who's way more in tune with baseball surroundings than I am, and that was Buster Olney, who said there are multiple reports stating that Ohtani is going to stay with the Los Angeles Angels because he's a creature of habit, and they're going to give him the money.
Yeah, I mean, if they give him the money, but man, they can't make a winner out there.
I agree.
Buster gets on his stomach in his bed, twirling the phone cord between his fingers. Fuck, I'm old. Thank you, Jim. I can visualize you doing that. Hi, honey.
First of all,
I want a Tawny.
First of all,
I want a Tawny. Could you get him for me?
Is that gummy kicking in yet?
It is. We're 26 minutes in. I can't stop laughing, but
I love it. But see, that's what we get here on the Wheel of Death. And speaking of the Wheel of Death, before we go any further into our baseball talk, I promised that I would get waxed, and I will.
Here we go.
But I would like to offer you the opportunity at a different punishment for me. And that would be to share right here on the air on our first time on Twitch, the Dougie video.
The Dougie video?
Yeah. So at school, we're doing different classes. And what happened was last block, our class had to do a music video. And they all decided that since I am the only white kid in the class, that they were going to teach me how to Dougie. So what say you, sir? Get waxed or share with the world my Dougie video?
Can we do both at the same time? Can't you get waxed as we're watching the Dougie video?
No. That's what they call what do they call that? A double it's against the law. You can't charge me twice with the same crime. You can't charge me twice with the same crime. Double jeopardy, that's what they call it.
Dougie video.
You want to do the Dougie video?
Let's do the Dougie video.
All right, here we go. Gonna do the Dougie video. This is terrible. Share screen.
False start. Off.
All right. Here we go.
Oh God, here we go.
What are you learning? You've been looking at that book all year. What are you gonna learn?
Professor Mack and I have been teaching you guys all year long. The question is, what can you teach us?
We gonna teach y'all how to Dougie.
What's
Oh God.
They be like, Smooth, what? Can you teach me how to Dougie? You know
What?
all the girls love me. Hey, all I need is a beat that's super bumpin', and for you to back it up and dump it. Get it. Put your arms out front, lean side to side. They gon' be on you when they see you hit that Dougie ride. Ain't nobody getting with my bro from on the side.
We
He
just
go by
lost all
Bubba,
our
and he
viewers.
just like Dougie. Okay. I ain't from Dallas, but I need town boogie. I show my moves on there, everybody trying to do it. I lead a function.
Oh
This
my.
is
it's
it's so bad.
You, and I'ma do it all day. Dudes let her hate, so they try to shoot me. Females be stuck to me. I think they try to glue me. I make the party shine bright when it started
Can't
glooming.
dance.
This beat was bubble gum, so I had to chew it.
Taste me how to duck. Taste me how to duck. Taste me how to duck. Taste me how to duck.
Everybody love me. Everybody love me. Everybody love me. You ain't messing.
All right, so I have to pause it just for a few seconds here, just because I
Dignity back. Gee.
I have to pause it just so that we don't get hit on a copyright strike. So we don't own the rights to the music, but we do own the rights to the video. I know, Fitz. I know, but look, I have to do it for class. I have to do. He says end it.
Like torture.
Taste me how to duck. Taste me how to duck.
Oh my god, it's the first time John's listened to the show in weeks, and now I'm
Everybody love me. Everybody love me. You ain't messing with my
The
dirty.
name is John. For them dudes who don't know me, I know I'm from the west, but I can teach you.
All right. Okay. Wait a second here. This is like a torture for me. It's like I'm getting fun.
Hey, I asked you.
They like how we do that. He can Dougie on the floor. And when your boys stop, they like
Jeremiah's wife is leaving him.
Boy, kind of tired, and I pass it to the
You're welcome.
Show these cats how to do that. Down south dance that we learned to move too fast and brought it to the hood and got the whole crew cat.
This is like the Macarena. What?
I pulled up the Ric Flair.
Oh my.
Everybody love me. Everybody love me.
Is that the lawnmower?
This is actually one of my teachers right here.
Taste me how to duck. Taste me how to duck. Taste me.
Michelle's leaving me for him.
Everybody love me. Everybody love me. Everybody love me.
Me neither.
Back of the party, I don't really like to boogie. I'ma put up in the way and try to meet a red bone. She do her Dougie and every girl hating, but I'm thinking about escaping with her and head home.
I mean, we got to pause it every once in a while so we can get the copyright strike.
Is this you? Is this on YouTube?
No, it is not. It's
Okay.
it's in my email, safe, where nobody can record it and nobody can use it other than on this show.
Who would ever want to use this? Why are you protecting us?
It's supposed to show like it's about editing, all the editing in the back. Obviously we're not really in Paris, France, doing the Dougie. It's about editing and interpreting new things more than it is the content of the video. Can you still get your money back for this class? Hey, look, Illinois Media School
Will be
Illinois Media School
anybody else.
has actually been one of the best things that I've ever done. So for me, it's like I had fun with it. Look, I knew it was going to be terrible.
Oh yeah, I mean,
You know, but I still have fun with it. It is what it is.
She got a friend, so it's a two-man, and I wanna run it even if her legs long. She like you heavy, I think she let me, but I changed the
Why do you
subject
always
and
look
I do my
confused?
Dougie. All the bros call me lucky because they see the girl I'm with and she
You
ready.
you
so
look
we
like someone
rush
made
it.
you do a
Turn
math
off my kid 'cause
problem.
I don't wanna hear no fussing. Cali swag got them haters under their breath cussing. Man, you can't tell me nothing. Star made the beat, I just took it out the oven. I just see the Dougie when everybody clubbing and they yell CSD.
They know we keep it
Hey, taste me how to duck. Taste me how to duck.
That is an
Taste me how to
ugly
duck.
cat
Taste me how to duck.
Everybody love me. Everybody love me. Everybody love me. You ain't messing with my Dougie.
Taste me how to duck. Taste me how to duck. Taste me how to duck. Taste me how to duck.
Everybody love me. Everybody love me. Everybody love me. You ain't messing with my Dougie.
All right. The world premiere of the Dougie.
Wow.
I apologize to everybody, but Fitz chose it.
what happens at the end? Does everybody get
We
murdered?
just walk out of the exit. I could finish playing it if you want.
No, thanks. I'm sure it was fun putting together though. Some of those videos are.
It is. I mean, look, we know Doubting Thomas.
Feel like a bad YouTube commercial you can't skip. Play it again, Cole.
Look, it was bad. It was terrible. I knew it was going to be bad. I knew I couldn't. John Fitzgibbons, you chose unwisely.
Yes. Did you see that biscuit song? Like putting honey on the biscuit. Have you heard that?
No.
That's what this reminds me of. You can read more comments while I look it up.
He said, "You're the whitest man on the planet, Jeremiah." What's the other guy's excuse?
Oh man.
Look, that is actually Marcus Mack. He is my co-host on our radio show that we do at the school. And I told him, I said, "Hey, look, I thought I was going to be the worst dancer in this video. So thank you for making me look good. I appreciate that. I did not expect to be the person in the video with the least amount of rhythm. But it is what it is. It was bad, but that's, sometimes you just got to show your ability. It was more, like I said, it was more about editing video. It was more about showing the different things that we could do with video editing and showing that we learn the things that they've taught us. So this week we're learning TV producing and all that stuff. So we actually have a live YouTube show, TV talk show that we're going to be doing live on YouTube.
Goodness of the biscuit.
What?
Taste the honey sauce.
Fuck is this?
Goodness of the biscuit with the honey sauce.
Look, you are not allowed to listen to this while you're high, sir, because you are enjoying it way too much. You're enjoying it way too much. See, I knew we shouldn't have had you do a damn gummy on our first day on Twitch TV.
Hit the wrong buttons.
Oh my God. All right. Let's get back on track. Let's talk some sports. Let's get back into some sports.
You're the one that did this.
We've got the Major League Baseball
winter meetings,
and there's lots of things going on this week. Do you expect to see the White Sox trading Luis Robert, Eloy Jimenez? Do you expect to see either of those two names gone this week?
Could be Eloy Jimenez, but I think he has 3 years left on his contract. Like, why not have him have a big year this year, maybe, and then you can cash in on that. I don't know why you're selling low with him. Dylan Cease is always going to be high. He's going to get his slider back this year, and he's going to be dominant again. He's running up for the Cy Young in 22. Like, he's going to be back where he was. They're a better team if he's good and Lynn's good this past season. They still suck, but they're a little bit of better team. Yeah, I think that's where you're going to get the most for them, but then you're in rebuild. That's it. I mean, yeah, you'll keep Robert just because he's terrific, and you can start a team. You start a team with a center fielder like that. Cease 27, couple years older, few years older, actually 3 years older. I guess you can cut ties with him. I wouldn't, because you have 2 years after this year with him.
What's your feeling on Getz so far in the job he's doing? Were you happy to see him get 5 players in return for Bummer?
Yeah, they're 5 bums pretty much. I mean, Nicky Lopez could be a really good utility infielder for you. He can play all the positions. He's a decent contact hitter. I think he got just give it an all-star game. But yeah, I mean, some of those pitchers might have talent. You hit on one of them, I guess it's good, but you just gotta you kind of got a load of you got 5 kind of crappy players. There might be something there. Like I said, you got to see after a trade, but just that you got anything for Bummer. I mean, he had a 6 ERA last year. He doesn't throw strike. I want guys out of the bullpen throwing strikes. I think he's awfully talented. He could be the best lefty in the league this year, and I wouldn't even be surprised. Or it could go the other way again.
So are you riding with Chris Getz?
I am not riding with Chris Getz.
You're not riding with Chris Getz.
I think there's no reason why. This is another thing that's happening. We got the integrity part with Alabama. Now we got the other part where people get promoted in this country for not doing anything.
Jeremiah Murray says Ricketts will be getting Ohtani, Chapman, and a couple starters. Jerry will be getting a soup and a sandwich.
Yes. Kosher. But yes, I agree. I mean, their payroll is going to be like 60 million.
Yeah.
If they get rid of Cease, maybe even less than that. I'd have to look at the numbers, but a lot of guys came off the books. They're paying Bummer okay money, but you got 17 million gone from Grandal. You got 20 million that you're not going to be putting into Lynn.
And you don't believe they're shedding cap to go after Ohtani.
Shedding cap to get Paul DeJong.
Paul DeYoung. That's a great pickup. I can't wait to watch him suck in a Sox uniform.
Yeah, I mean, not a great fielding infielder either, which is weird. He's got some pop. That's about the only good thing you could say about him. I mean, in that park, he might hit 20.
So you got a worse version of Tim Anderson after letting Tim Anderson go. Okay.
Pretty much, yeah. I don't see anything where they're trying to turn this around on a dime, like Jerry said, and that's just more of the con man that Chris Getz is. The only thing he did get Josh Barfield, who was in player development for the Arizona Diamondbacks, which were probably the best player developed team in the league this past year. I mean, look at what they were able to do with, a lot of really young players.
Right.
So, I mean, maybe he surrounds him with smart people. Like Jim Harbaugh is kind of an idiot if you hear him talk, but he's a community builder. He brings people around him. He knows talented people like him, and he brings them into organizations to win for him. I mean, that's what he does. He knows how to find talent too. He does know a little bit about that, but he's kind of an idiot. I mean, so maybe I don't know. Like I was told you the other day, I'm still deciding whether I'm going to be a Sox fan this year. Go Rays! If Fitz took one of the gummies I left after the Crawford fight, this is going to get. Yes, I did, Tom. Yes, Doubting Thomas. Thank you.
Okay.
And I knew Crawford was going to win that fight against Spence too. So, but yeah, it's getting a little weird. It's getting a little shaky. I'm starting to think about other things.
And Doubting Thomas, just so you know, he pussed out and only took like a quarter of it, or maybe half. Like he's just half.
That's 10 milligrams.
Close to half.
You pot smokers and eaters out there.
That's all right. I mean, he could have manned up, but at the same time, I'll let him off the hook because I didn't get waxed. Instead, I showed my stupid music video. But and I have to wear this stupid Sox jersey too. You could I was expecting you to go creative and get like one of those like blow up penises or something.
I was gonna say
you're gonna make me wear.
Yeah, I guess they could have done that.
See, that's the route I thought you were going to go.
I don't know. My kids actually watched.
But this is definitely worse than a penis outfit, though.
I told you that you're all over Ricketts' penis, so I mean, there we go. That's enough.
There is that. There is that.
I think they're getting a Tani, by the way.
I don't think that they're going to be able to outbid the Dodgers. I don't think the Angels are going to outbid the Dodgers either. I still think that he's going to the Dodgers. I still think that Seattle's a sleeper, even though Seattle has said they're out on him. But trading Jared Kelenic to the Braves and some of the other moves that they've made have made me wonder even more if they're going to make a run at Ohtani. It makes a ton of sense for them to make a run at Ohtani. Yeah. I don't think that he ends up in Chicago, but on the bright side for Cubs fans that are listening, I do think that when they do miss on Ohtani, they could end up with either Juan Soto or Pete Alonso.
Alonso makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and I still think that they could be in the market for Matt Chapman. I've also heard that the Toronto Blue Jays are in on a couple of trades that is going to free up Bo Bichette, and the Cubs are the most likely spot for Bo Bichette to land.
I can't believe they would do that.
So I don't know. I don't know. I'd have to look more into it because I'd have to look at his contract situation, what they're looking at. But I mean, those are just some names that I'm hearing. Even if we do miss out on Ohtani, the Cubs are going to spend. They're going to make moves. They're going to trade. We're not going to be watching Miles Mastroboni in a playoff push. That's for damn sure. We probably have seen the last of Nick Madrigal starting every day in the Cubs uniform as well. So those are all good signs for Cubs fans moving forward. I don't think they're getting Ohtani, though. I really don't. I would be shocked if they landed Ohtani. But he said to be the rumor is he's going to make a decision by the end of the week. So see, and I figured he wanted to get it done. That's why he didn't want anybody talking about it. That's why he put that little power move in there. It's like, hey, if you talk about this, you're out of the running. So. I do think that the Cubs have a lot of things that they're going to do. Speaking of doing, how about Corey Perry?
I heard this actually happened. When I was on the South Side on Saturday night, I heard from a few people who said they knew somebody who knew somebody. You know how it goes.
Everybody knows somebody.
That he diddled Connor Bedard's mom. That's what I heard.
I mean, as far as I know, correct me if I'm wrong, Connor Bedard's mom is still married to his dad, right?
I think yes.
Okay, and I know Corey Perry's married for a fact. And so I don't know if this is true. I don't know if this is true. Here's my question. I don't know if you saw the press conference with Blackhawks GM Kyle Davidson. Did you?
No, I did not. I heard bits of it. Yeah.
At one point, they asked Kyle Davidson. They say, "How did you react to the news when you heard it?" Because they're not coming out and saying anything, which we'll get to that end of it in a second. And he had to step away from the mic, and he was kind of choked up a little bit. I don't think that if it's Connor Bedard's mom, you have that sort of reaction when asked this question. I think that the other rumor of him messing with a front office member's daughter who is underage might be closer to the truth than the Connor Bedard's mom thing is. And I think maybe Corey Perry's camp tried jumping out in front of this and tried putting this all out there. Because to me, it just doesn't make sense when you watch it. When you watch the press conference and you listen to the stories, it doesn't make a ton of sense. Doubting Thomas says, wasn't Patrick Sharp screwing some of his teammates' wives a few years back? I don't know. I know this has happened quite a bit.
I heard that he was.
I know throughout sports this has happened quite a bit. I mean, hell, you had the Yankee players back in the 70s who traded families. Imagine coming home and having that conversation. Hey, Nicole, you and Aiden got to pack up. I traded you guys to Combs for Aubrey and Michelle. So you guys got to get out of here. Imagine having that conversation.
Awkward.
Yeah, but you've also had
mom though. I mean, yeah,
she's all right. She's not bad. She's a MILF, but I don't know that it makes a ton of sense with the way that the reaction has been. Because look, if you come to me tomorrow, Fitz, and you're like, hey, look, man, I gotta tell you, I found out one of my buddies was sleeping with my mom, right? I would be like, dude, that's brutal. And we would have a conversation about it. But if you came to me and said, hey, I found out that one of my buddies was messing with my underage daughter, I'm going down. I'm loading up my shotgun, and you and I are going hunting. Like that's. I've got a couple of guns, and we're going hunting. I've got a sniper rifle.
I want to take back a few things I said earlier.
I would never use it on you, Fitzy. Not you. If my ex-wife is still breathing, you're good.
False start. Offense. The entire offensive line.
But I don't think that it makes sense that it's his mom, because is that really an offense that he gets cut for? You know what I mean? Like it's two. They're both adults. They're both consenting. I mean, granted, yes, it creates some turmoil in the locker room, but to me, I'm like, hey, look, man, you guys are all grown ass men. I mean, well, Connor Bedard's not yet, but I mean, you are all grown ass men. You guys deal with it. It just, there's something more to this story that we don't know. It just has that feel to it. And if that's the other case, why has nobody come out and said anything from the Blackhawks? It just feels like there's legal issues to be had.
Oh yeah, and they can't say anything for the player or whatever. They could get some litigation back at them if something happens to him in a court case.
And Kyle Davidson said, "Look, it absolutely did not have to do anything with a player or one of his families, but did not say it didn't have to do with anybody in the front office."
Come from? I know that he was supposed to take him under his wing, and maybe they spent a little time together. And some of the players are like, "He's probably fucking his mom."
You think maybe like he just like. He did something. Maybe Connor Bedard did something in a practice to make him look stupid, and he knew that this was coming down the pipeline, because he got pulled from a game when whatever news the Blackhawks received, whatever accusation it was, he got pulled from the game right away. That's another thing too that makes me think that there's something more to it. He gets pulled from the game, and then he's a healthy scratch for like a week and a half before they decide to go ahead and cut him. If that is the case, and if it was just Connor Bedard's mom, I don't think it's handled quite the way that it is. And somebody comes out and says something. You know what I mean? But the mouths are tight. Nobody is saying nothing. And after the Kyle Beach stuff, which I'm still not 110%. Actually, I'll tell you guys right now, it's just me. I don't believe the Kyle Beach stuff is true. I believe Kyle Beach was going to get outed as gay, and he decided to take it a different route.
That guy was still a weirdo that you let stay working there, and then
for sure.
Else and
I'm not saying he wasn't a weirdo. I'm just saying I'm not so sure that the Kyle Beach, the doctor was, like a little bit smaller than you are, and Kyle Beach is a 6'3" hockey player who beats people up for a living.
Do any players really beat each other up anymore?
Kind of hard to believe that he was able to take advantage of Kyle Beach. Sounds to me like Kyle Beach got to do some stuff, and then when the doctor said, "I'm going to come out and let everybody know we're in a relationship," he was like, "Oh, you raped me." So it sounds like to me. I'm just saying. I'm not saying. I'm just saying. Sometimes that's what that stuff. So, but with the Blackhawks' perception, though, they cleaned house. They cleaned out up the upper management. They cleaned out the locker room. They don't have any of those players left. They don't have any of that upper management left. And they promised that they were going to be transparent with everything moving forward. And then this happens, and now all of a sudden, mum's the word again. Like, I have a feeling that there's something more to this than just. Maybe he still did bang Connor Bedard's mom as a, "Hey, you little shit. You think you're so damn good. Check this out.
Well,
your mom."
Your mom.
But I don't know. I'm not a big, there's more to it.
Maybe it seems too easy, seems too simple for it to be that.
Yeah.
It's not like, would anybody in the Hawks come out and say it was true if it were true? I mean, we're never going to really find out what happened, are we? Unless there's legal action, we're really not going to find out what happened.
I mean, at some point, I think you will.
We will not know definitively unless Connor Bedard comes out and says he fucked my mom, or the mom comes out and says it.
Well, or I mean, Corey Perry can come out in an interview later and say it too. Like, yeah,
people can still be like, yeah, he's fucking lying.
Oh.
They could say he's lying, then you wouldn't know 100%.
Well, yeah, if he's lying, then how do you know he's lying? You got to prove to me that he's lying, because until then, he's telling the truth, right?
I mean, I don't know. They could come out and be like, he's jealous, and then you could believe that. You just said maybe he's jealous.
Well, yeah, I'm saying maybe something happened in a practice, but if Corey Perry gets Bedard's mom pregnant, the kid is a shoo-in for the number 1 pick in 2040.
2040, yeah. I mean,
If
yeah.
Corey, could you imagine how awkward that Thanksgiving dinner had to be?
Yes.
And he walked in and he's like, hey kid, hey Corey, I didn't know you were coming by today. Yeah, I figured I'd stay. All right. Then the end of dinner, he's like, all right, Corey, well, I'm gonna get going, man. You want to ride back? He's like, no, I'm gonna stick around for a little while. It's just like, what? What do you mean you're sticking around for a little while?
Get out of my house.
Well, I'm not just stuffing the turkey today.
Oh my God. Slow on the rim shot.
Oh God. I feel like you're gonna be slow on a lot of things right now. How you feeling?
It'd be a weird gibberish.
You ready to? I'm actually looking forward to it. Are you ready for Fitz gibberish?
Yes, if I can read it.
All right, let's do it. Let's bring up Fitz gibberish.
Fitz gibberish. It's a diatribe. It's conspiracy theory, and it's an island. It'll be unapologetic and mostly awkward and tired for some reason. Oh God. Project MK Ultra was an illegal human experimentation program designed and undertaken by the U.S. Central Intelligence Agency and intended to develop procedures and identify drugs that could be used during interrogations to weaken people and force confessions through brainwashing and psychological torture. This happened
Did
around.
you accidentally click on CNN instead of your Fitz gibberish?
If you haven't heard of MK Ultra, look it up. It's pretty cool stuff. Back in the 30s to 50s, pretty much. You want to make a bet, Combs?
Let's do it.
For a future Wheel of Death, that we're going to find out Matt Nagy used the procedures from MK Ultra to trick Andy Reid into giving him a job. Did you watch that game yesterday?
Yes.
As most of you already known, Eric Bieniemy took the offensive coordinator job in Washington to step out of Reid's globular shadow. If one lets themselves daydream, it's hard not to see Andy Reid stroking a picture of Bieniemy at his bedside in between bites of a double stack from Wendy's. Heck, even Mahomes' Kermit the Frog voice is starting to crack during interviews. Since Nagy took over as offensive coordinator, a guy who perpetually looks like he hasn't slept in a week, the offense has taken a large step back. Why did I have numbers in this Fitz gibberish? Last year,
because you didn't know your face was going to be numb.
Last year, 2022, they averaged 413 yards a game. What did that rank them, Combs? First in the NFL. 29 points a game last year. Also first in the NFL. This year, they're down to 364 yards a game. They're 8th in the NFL in yards per game. Only 23.3 points a game. They're 11th in the league and almost smack dab in the middle. And those ranks are sure to go down because they don't count this last week's debacle when they lost to the fucking Packers and only scored 19 points. Now the Chiefs are leading the world in drop passes. They are. But the Matt Nagy effect is becoming a thing. He has parlayed his proximity to Patrick Mahomes to more money and promotions than anyone in this league since Brady made Josh McDaniels relevant. What happened to Josh McDaniels? He was fired from the Raiders 10 games into the season, if he even made it that far. Proximity hires are just another reason why the Bears organization resembles a dead baby in a clown suit. Eberflus had the same agent as Ryan Poles, and Bill Polian was the ex-GM / president of the Colts and helped with the Bears' hire of Poles and Eberflus. Luke Getsy was so far up Aaron Rodgers' ass, you couldn't find him with a headlamp, a pickaxe, and a team of Sherpas. The same Getsy who ran 17 screen passes a week ago, including, as Combs mentioned, 3 in a row. And then we get back to Nagy, who, like any incompetent former Bears coach, might have used the same brainwashing technique on himself before the Chiefs humiliated the Bears on national television, Nagy had this to say about Fields' development. These NFL defenses are so different than college, Nagy said. You need to be able to adjust and adapt to the player and how they can grow. But you also have to be able to go through highs and the lows together. Matt Nagy, you are a fucking troll. Go back under your bridge, you son of a bitch. What about the Cleveland game when you had Justin Fields doing seven-step drops? We played the highlights a bunch of times when he got sacked. Matt Nagy, go back to your MK Ultra days and get out of the NFL. That's Fitz gibberish, Combs. I'm surprised I can read.
Me too. I mean, you kind of had to, slur your way through that a little bit. I posted a poll on the page.
There we go. This should be interesting.
If anybody's even watching to vote anymore.
That just got us kicked off Twitch.
It just got us kicked off everything. No, look, Matt Nagy and the Kansas City Chiefs yesterday were a shell of themselves. I don't know what happened. I don't know if it was just the aura of Lambeau, or maybe Jordan Love is actually starting to turn a corner and become the quarterback that Green Bay Packers fans thought that he might be.
Scary,
because he looked good last night. I'm not gonna lie, he did kind of make a believer out of me last
balls
night.
Up in the air that got taken down, but
he did
look good.
Yeah, and I mean they did have a couple of penalties at the end that probably should have been called and could have been called. On the pass interference, the one where Valdez Scantling was basically wearing a defender as a backpack as he tried to catch the ball, that they did not call. However, you could also say, they got within that territory because of a bad call on roughing the quarterback when he got hit, and he was still in bounds when he got hit. And I never blame anything on officiating, because officiating is bad all across the league. It's not bad for one team and bad for it's bad across the league, and they're not in any team's pockets. No team is in a referee's pocket. Vegas might be in their pocket, but no team is in any of their pockets. And it was a good game, and the Packers played well, and their defense looked good last night. And
does Kelsey look like he's hurt or lost a step, maybe, finally?
Kelsey looks like he's stuck in a relationship that he doesn't want to be in, and he's distracted. And he's distracted in the football field. I don't know what's going on with Kelsey. I know that...
you talk about the look. This does not look like the offense from last year, or some of the better offenses that he's had through the years.
You know why? Because Matt Nagy is running it.
Exactly.
I mean, it's bad. Plus, they don't have the weapons anymore. They can't afford the weapons because they paid the quarterback so much money. They couldn't afford to keep Tyreek Hill. They can't afford to keep any. They have to bargain shop for weapons now. It's the same problem that the Dolphins had Dan Marino's entire career. Because he would never take a pay cut, never allow them to go out and be able to get him any weapons to win the Super Bowl, because he was okay with just making more money. And that's fine, but the Kansas City Chiefs are not going to be the Kansas City Chiefs anymore. I don't know if the Packers are turning a corner or not, though, which is kind of scary if they found it again. With Jordan Love,
I don't see him being an Aaron Rodgers or Brett Favre. I don't see that happening. Could he be good?
He doesn't have to be Aaron Rodgers or Brett Favre. But if let me ask you this: if he doesn't put up quite the numbers that Aaron Rodgers and Brett Favre do, but he wins 2 Super Bowls, is he better? Does he have a more successful career than Aaron Rodgers and Brett Favre? Because neither one of those guys won multiple Super Bowls.
I mean, if they have a great offensive line and a great defensive line. They sure do. I mean, he has a lot of time back there. He's not getting hit very much. He's not, and Mahomes had to hurry up a lot. in that game. Had to roll out a lot, held the ball for a long time because he does, but made some good plays. But they just, it's like and there's no commitment to the run for the Chiefs, and there never really was a lot when Andy Reid was calling plays. But you know how Nagy is. It just doesn't look the same. And how many players did they lose from last year's offense? The Chiefs, they're pretty similar. They didn't have Tyreek Hill last year. They won the World Series. They won the Super Bowl, man. Come on, man. They won the Super Bowl.
They did win the Super Bowl. Look,
the only different person is Matt Nagy, and he has that fucking Bears stink on him still.
Well, Matt Nagy was there last year, wasn't he?
Matt Nagy was there last year, yeah, but he's not Bieniemy. That's why I said. That's why I mentioned Bieniemy.
But he was the quarterbacks coach and not the OC.
Reed is stroking Bieniemy's pitcher in between bites of a fucking Wendy's double stack.
I get it.
Dougie was worse.
Oh, I was just bringing it up too.
He's showing it to detainees at Guantanamo Bay.
That's rough, man.
No. This is what they're showing detainees at
Oh God.
Love the biscuit.
I cannot.
Oh my God.
Is that out there? Millions of views though. Millions of views though.
Millions of views, and we get 4.
Yeah.
I sometimes I wonder with some of the content that goes out there and goes viral. I'm like, damn, maybe we just have to suck at what we do, and then we'll
have to be really, really good or have really like celebrities on, or suck at what you do.
Suck at what you do.
Really, really bad, like to where it's like horrible to watch.
So we just play the Dougie video over and over and over again?
Pretty much, yes. Yeah.
All right. Well, we can do that. Hey, before I want to go through one more thing before we get out of here. I know the Bears are on a bye week, and we'll do the Wheel of Death as well because I always spin. Did the Bulls figure it out? Like, I'm starting to see a different Bulls team without Zach LaVine.
They were pretty good. Beat the Bucks.
They beat the Bucks. They won. They won the night after. I can't remember who they beat, but they won again. Like I think they figured it out. And without Zach LaVine, do they just need to get him out of here already?
Yeah, I mean, he's the reason the whole offense stops. There was 30 in that Bucks game. There was 36 assists, 36 assists, and the ball was moving around. Patrick Williams looked good. Kobe White might be good.
Yeah,
I mean, am I right? They beat the Nets. No, not the Nets. They beat the Pelicans. Yeah. That's a team with some problems. But anyway, yeah. I mean, the ball's moving around a lot. You could say that. And DeMar DeRozan is at least smarter than Zach LaVine. So I'll take him over Zach LaVine. I mean, you're not probably going to get a lot for DeRozan just because he's older. But from what I heard, some of the packages for LaVine, like, goodbye.
Yeah,
his team doesn't like him. The coach doesn't like him. This is what Billy Donovan. This is kind of vindication for him a little bit. These last 2 wins. I mean, I think this is the right way to go. It's a better game to watch too. It's a better product to watch when the ball's moving around and they're spreading the floor than watching one guy hold the ball for 12 seconds.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think Billy Donovan got to run the team the way he wanted to without Zach LaVine. I look, they just paid Zach LaVine too much money, and Zach LaVine's not that guy. Zach LaVine needs to be like a third option on a team. He can't be the guy. And I think that they found something. I don't know if they've turned it around. I don't know if they found it. I don't know if they're going to go on a 15-game winning streak and get out of this rut that they've been in. But I think they play better basketball without Zach LaVine. So, look, you know what else I think? I think it's time to get to the Wheel of Death.
The Wheel of Death?
You look like you're going to fall asleep.
All our lives hang by a thread. Now we've got a man waiting for sentence. But ain't it the truth? You take your chances with the law, Justice is only a roll of the dice, a flip of the coin, a turn of the wheel.
This is the Wheel of Death.
And here we go.
And here we go. It's time for the Wheel of Death. I picked against the Bears last week. They found a way to win a football game.
Somehow
12 to 10.
Touchdown.
If you guys remember, I predicted the Bears win or the Vikings win 9-3. The Bears almost won by that score. But they found a way to win a football game. I'll gladly take the spin. I just hope it does not land on cracking an egg on my wife's head. Because then I will die. But here we go. Spinning the wheel.
One spin.
One time, one kill. One shot, one kill. Unless it lands on the wife's thing, then I might spin it again. Here we go.
Yes. How much you gonna buy
Prank
the
call
Bears?
Hallis Hall asking to purchase the Bears. This is going to be epic. This is going to be something we're going to have to record during the day. Might have to do it on Facebook Live or something, but this will happen.
We'll figure it out. It will happen. How much you gonna where are you gonna start the bidding?
I am going to I'm going to start it at $5.
$5.
Yeah, I want to buy them for $5.
$5 for Bears.
Virginia McCaskey said if I mowed her lawn, she would either give me $5 or the Bears.
Is that innuendo?
Maybe.
Mowing
be.
Virginia McCaskey's lawn, you sicko.
Sometimes you got to take one for the team.
Corey Perry over here.
Yeah. What is going on with my screen?
Your screen's fine.
Jeremiah said it's going to come back and Fitz going to have chocolate all over his face. Jeremiah also said Illinois is a two-party consent state. Be careful.
Be careful.
Trust me, she would consent. I would be the one in that scenario not consenting.
This is going to be an interesting phone call.
Interesting phone call.
Can you do the wax while you're on the phone?
Yes.
Rip it off while you're on the phone.
So yeah. So are we doing a one Monday night football game again for next week's wheel, or we want to do Sunday's games? What do you want to do? Tonight's game or Sunday's games?
Well, we're both going to take the Jaguars. Who's going to take the Bengals? Burrows again. Burrow isn't playing.
What's the spread in this one?
I don't know. Probably 7-8 points.
Looking it up right now. Jacksonville's a 10-point favorite.
Oh, there you go.
Can Cincinnati keep it to within 10?
I mean, their defense is okay. Trevor Lawrence. It tastes like mothballs. He's lost his mind.
So 10-point favorite. Now we'll save it for Sunday. We'll save it for Sunday. I think we would both be on the Jaguars. I don't know if I could take Cincy plus 10. I could force you to take Cincy plus 10. But
no, that's not gonna end.
You either take Cincy plus 10 or you take the other half of that gummy.
And piss all over his fucking leg. I mean,
you either take Cincinnati plus 10, either Cincy plus 10 or the other half of the gummy.
No. Neither. You don't have to take neither. I don't have to. That's not a part of the rules. And I'm not welching either.
All right. We'll go with Sunday's picks.
Look at my head's shaking a little bit too much when I talk.
We'll text the I'll send you the spreads and we'll go over the picks. I'll share the picks on Facebook and YouTube and Twitter as well. And And now we're on Twitch TV, guys. So go check us out on twitch.tv. It is a different name on twitch.tv. It is Combs and Fitz _ WCST is the name on Twitch. Combs and Fitz _ WCST. Go check us out. Click the heart, click the little bell icon, and that'll tell you every time we go live, exactly when we go live, so that you guys can chime in. I know, I believe YouTube does the same thing, but just check it out on there. Also now, you can find us on X, not Twitter. You can find us on
X.
Yeah, you can find us on X. He is at Real Rye Fitz. I am at Real Combsy. So you can find us both on the X. At Real Rye Fitz and at Real Combsy. We'll be out there. Guys, let us know what you like. Shanna's chiming in at the end of the show. She must have been working.
Yeah.
Either that or she was like
right now.
She passed out when she saw the Dougie video.
Yeah.
And she's just now coming back to
you can brainwash people with that video, probably. That could be an MK Ultra thing, a government project. That's probably why you showed me it.
That's true. It's true. You probably could do that. I'm not doing that. But we will get out of here for now. We will be back on next Monday, same time, same bat channel. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell your enemies. Shanna says, I've been working with Christmas nails. It's that time of year where I work 6 days a week. There you go. You missed out on the Dougie video.
Yeah.
You missed out.
Rewind it.
You're gonna have to rewind it and check it out if you want to.
23. I mean,
it's true.
Nothing ever goes away now.
It's true. All right, guys.
Forever.
Have a good one. It's been fun. Don't forget Twitch TV at Combs and Fitz _ WCST. Till then,